Before talking about the description of the contents of the femoral sheath, I would like to say the roof of the femoral triangle is formed by the skin, superficial fascia and the deep fascia. And the deep fascia of the thigh is called as fascia lata, fascia L-A-T-A, fascia lata. This forms the roof. And the floor, the muscles which are forming the floor are coming from the posterior aspect of the femur. Hence, they are deeply grooved. The floor of the femoral triangle is gutter shaped. It forms a deep groove or gutter like. Okay. Coming to the next content, which is the femoral sheath. It is important. It is a prolongation or extension of the facial sheaths of abdomen along with the extraperitoneal tissue into the upper part of the thigh. The anterior wall, this is the femoral sheath. The anterior wall of the femoral sheath is formed by the fascia transversalis and the posterior wall is formed by the fascia iliaca. Fascia transversalis forms the anterior wall of the sheath and the posterior wall is formed by the fascia iliaca. If you see the formation of the sheath, now in this diagram if you see, this is the external oblique muscle and it is deeply grooved downwards, so that is forming the inguinal ligament. And these dotted things are the extraperitoneal tissue. With this blue one is the fascia transversalis and this one is the fascia iliaca. So in between the fascia transversalis and fascia iliaca, within this extraperitoneal connective tissue lies the external iliac artery and external iliac vein along with femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve. So this is external iliac artery, this is a femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve. In the intrauterine life, the sheath is not formed. The sheath, when it is formed because of the extension movements of the hip joint. In the fetal life, since the hip joint is completely flexed in the intrauterine life, the sheath is not seen, and hence the sheath is rudimentary in a newborn also. But when the child starts extending the hip, it drags down the extraperitoneal connective tissue along with the fascia, that is the fascia transversalis and fascia iliaca downwards below the inguinal ligament, and thus forms the femoral sheath. Now if you see, after birth with the movements, what is happening? This extraperitoneal connective tissue together with the fascia is dragged downwards, where below the inguinal ligament, this is the inguinal ligament, it is coming below the inguinal ligament and it is forming the femoral sheath containing the femoral artery and femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve. The femoral sheath contains the femoral artery and femoral vein, but not the femoral nerve. Why? Why? Because the femoral nerve is formed by the lumbar plexus and the trunk of the femoral nerve lies behind the fascia iliaca. It is lying behind the fascia iliaca, hence it is not a content of the femoral sheath. Instead, it lies behind the femoral sheath. Now, what is the function of this femoral sheath? This femoral sheath freely permits or glides the movements of the femoral vessels below the inguinal ligament during the movements of hip joint. That is the function. Now, coming to this femoral sheath has, what is the shape of the femoral sheath? It is funnel shaped. It is funnel shaped, having a lateral wall which is longer, which is more vertical, medial wall which is shorter and which is directed downwards and laterally, and it encloses the femoral vessels within it, or it contains the femoral vessels within it. What are the subdivisions of femoral sheath? These two. Now this completely is the femoral sheath. These are the two partitions you are seeing. That means two anteroposterior septa divides the sheath into three compartments. Is it clear? So this is the lateral compartment, this one is the middle compartment, and this is the medial compartment. The lateral compartment contains the femoral artery. The middle compartment contains the femoral vein, and the medial compartment, which is almost empty, which contains only a lymph node. Here you are seeing that lymph node is called lymph node of Cloquet or lymph node of Rosenmuller, and this medial compartment is called femoral canal. Okay, this femoral sheath, it encloses upper 3 to 4 centimeters of the femoral vessels. Laterally it extends more vertically, and medially it is short, and laterally it is somewhat longer. That's why it is forming a funnel shaped sheath. This femoral sheath also blends with the tunica adventitia of the femoral artery and as well as the femoral vein. Now coming to the description of this femoral canal. This is a femoral canal. It is the medialmost part of the femoral sheath. It forms the medial compartment of the femoral sheath. It is smaller. It is only around 1.25 centimeters in its size. It is empty. It contains a lymph node, deep inguinal lymph node, that is the lymph node of Cloquet and lymph node or the lymph node of Rosenmuller. So this femoral canal, the medial compartment, the basic function of this femoral canal, what is its role? What is its function? The femoral canal function is, it provides a dead space. It provides a dead space for the expansion of the femoral vein during increasing venous return. It provides a dead space for the expansion of the femoral vein during increased venous return and contains this lymph node. This femoral canal, its base is above. The wider part, which is the base, is above, is formed by a structure called femoral ring. That femoral ring is bounded in front by inguinal ligament, behind by the pectineus, and laterally it is related to the femoral vein, and medially it is related to a ligament called lacunar ligament. So this is the femoral canal, this one. So medially this, whatever this black one I am showing here, that is the medial boundary of the femoral ring, which is the upper part of the femoral canal. This is called as lacunar ligament. So this femoral ring is bounded in front by the inguinal ligament, behind by pectineus, laterally by femoral vein, medially by the lacunar ligament. Okay. This femoral ring is guarded by a septum, called femoral septum, which is formed by the condensation of the extraperitoneal tissue. And that femoral septum is pierced by lymph vessels, which connects the deep inguinal lymph nodes with that of the external iliac lymph nodes. Okay. And above the femoral septum, there is a depressed peritoneal region which is called as femoral fossa. So in relation to the femoral canal, you need to know what is a femoral ring, you need to know what is a femoral septum, you need to know what is a femoral fossa. Okay. Now coming to this femoral canal, the contents of the femoral canal are this one, lymph node of Cloquet, this small round thing what I am showing, this is a lymph node of Cloquet, a deep inguinal lymph node of Cloquet or lymph node of Rosenmuller. Applied aspect in relation to this lymph node. This lymph node drains lymph into the glans penis in females or glans clitoris in females, glans penis in males and clitoris in females. So in cases of the diseases of these two, this lymph node is enlarged. When this lymph node is enlarged, our diagnosis should go to that region. That is, there is a problem related to glans penis or clitoris. Another applied aspect in relation to the femoral canal is femoral hernia. Femoral hernia. Femoral hernia is most common in females. Why it is most common in females? Because of wider pelvis in females and the narrow diameter of the femoral vessels. Because of the wider pelvis and the narrow diameter of the femoral vessels, the chances of the femoral hernia are more in females. What is herniation? Herniation is a protrusion of any abnormal content through an opening. So in case of femoral canal, any peritoneum of the sac, while descending downwards, the coverings of the sac are, first it is the peritoneum of the sac. Once it crosses the femoral septum takes its covering. Then it enters the femoral sheath, then femoral sheath takes the covering, and further below the cribriform fascia, and finally the skin. So these are the coverings of the femoral hernia. Okay. Now what is this cribriform fascia? To know that, you need to know this one. This is a saphenous opening. Saphenous opening is a small opening seen in the lower and medial aspect of the femoral sheath involving the femoral canal, which is limited by a cribriform fascia. The upper falciform margin, the lateral margin and the lower margin of the this saphenous opening is in line with the femoral canal. Only the medial margin extends beyond the femoral canal. So this herniated sac will come and will pierce the cribriform fascia also, and the descended sac, the herniated sac, lies here. So the treatment of it is the reduction of the same herniated sac in the reverse direction from where it is coming. So during this process, it becomes difficult to reduce the herniated sac back to its original site, in which case an incision is required so as to open the femoral ring more, to make the femoral ring more wider, so that the herniated sac can be reduced back. So in which case an incision has to be taken across only the medial aspect of the femoral canal, that is the lacunar ligament, because you cannot incise laterally because it is containing femoral vein. You cannot incise anteriorly. So the only option left is the medial option, where the lacunar ligament has to be incised. But care has to be taken, because sometimes over the lacunar ligament an abnormal obturator artery in around 20 to 25% of the people may be present. So check before incising the lacunar ligament whether that artery is present there or not. If present, if you take an incision, you might damage the artery, which results in profuse bleeding. Okay. So this is about the femoral canal and its applied aspect. So overall the femoral sheath is over. Now what are the structures which pierce the femoral sheath? Structures which pierce the femoral sheath are femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve, superficial circumflex iliac artery, superficial external pudendal artery, superficial epigastric artery, and this great saphenous vein from the medial side. These are the structures which pierce the femoral sheath. So the side headings in relation to the femoral sheath should be the formation, how the anterior wall is formed, how the posterior wall is formed, the subdivisions, its function, the femoral canal in detail and its applied aspect, including the structures piercing the femoral sheath. So this is all about the femoral sheath. Now coming to the deep inguinal lymph nodes, the next content. Deep inguinal lymph nodes may vary from 1 to 3 in number. It may be 1, it may be 2, it may be 3. When it is 3, the lower one lies at the junction between the opening of great saphenous vein into femoral vein. This is the first one. Number 2, the constant one, that is the lymph node of Cloquet. And the number 3 at the femoral septum. The third one may be present. The efferents from these nodes drain into external iliac nodes. It's clear? The efferents from this drain into external iliac nodes. Okay. Now coming to the femoral nerve. Femoral nerve is the largest branch of lumbar plexus. It is formed by the dorsal branches of the ventral rami of L2, L3 and L4 nerve roots. It is formed behind the fascia iliaca, that's why it is not the content of a femoral sheath. It passes behind the femoral artery at first, then it turns lateral to the femoral artery, pierces the femoral sheath, it passes behind the femoral, the femoral nerve passes behind the femoral sheath, not a content of the femoral sheath, and descends downwards and divides into anterior division and posterior division. So this is the femoral nerve. This is the femoral nerve. It is dividing into anterior division and posterior division. So this one is the anterior division and this one is the posterior division. Between the two divisions, you are seeing an artery passing. That artery is lateral circumflex femoral artery, which is a branch of profunda femoris artery. The profunda femoris artery divides it forms a junction between the anterior division and the posterior division of femoral nerve. This trunk of the femoral nerve gives 3 branches. The trunk of the femoral nerve gives 3 branches. 2 are motor nerves and 1 is vascular branch. Okay. 2 motor nerves are, it supplies iliacus and pectineus. The nerve supply to the muscles forming the floor of the femoral triangle, that is iliacus and pectineus, are getting its nerve supply directly from the branch of femoral nerve arising from its trunk, and vascular branch to upper part of the femoral artery. It gives a vascular branch to the upper part of the femoral artery. Then it divides into anterior division and posterior division. Now this is the anterior division. It gives off 3 branches again here. This anterior division gives off 3 branches, of which 2 are cutaneous and 1 is motor. The cutaneous branches are, this is number 1, this one, which is medial femoral cutaneous nerve. This descends downwards. In its majority of its course, it forms the content of the femoral triangle. It reaches the apex. At the apex of the femoral triangle, it is the superficial structure. In the last class, I have said structures piercing, a knife passing at the apex pierce what structures? So the first one is this one, that is the medial femoral cutaneous nerve. Succeedingly, here in the apex, femoral artery, femoral vein, adductor longus, profunda femoris vein, profunda femoris artery. These are the structures which are present from superficial to deep at the apex of the femoral triangle. Okay. And finally ends by supplying the medial aspect of the thigh. And finally ends by supplying or giving a cutaneous innervation to the medial aspect of the thigh. That's why it is called as medial femoral cutaneous nerve. And the second branch is this one, which is the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. Lateral femoral cutaneous nerve passes beyond the sartorius and supplies the lateral part of the thigh. And supplies the lateral part of the, gives cutaneous innervation to the lateral part of the thigh. Third branch of the anterior division is muscular branch to sartorius. Third branch, I will say this is a muscular branch to the sartorius muscle. So sartorius muscle is supplied by the anterior division of the femoral nerve. Now this is the posterior division. Posterior division gives off one cutaneous branch. This one is the long cutaneous branch and 4 muscular branches. One long cutaneous branch is this one, which is the longest cutaneous nerve of the body, that is the saphenous nerve. Already this is saphenous nerve, which is the longest cutaneous nerve in the body. It descends downwards, enters the region of the leg, enters the region of the foot and ends by supplying the corresponding region. And the other 4 muscular branches are the muscular branches to the quadriceps femoris, that is rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis and vastus intermedius. Is it clear? So this is all about the femoral nerve. Lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. Just now I have said the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve is a branch of the anterior division of the femoral nerve, supplying the lateral aspect of the thigh. Femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve. This is the, here you are seeing femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve is this one. It is arising from L1. It runs in the extraperitoneal tissue in front of the femoral artery, then enters the femoral sheath lying posterior to the femoral artery in the lateral compartment of the femoral sheath, pierces the femoral sheath. I have said structures piercing the femoral sheath. This is one. It pierces the femoral sheath and ends by supplying the skin at the middle of the upper part of the thigh, an area of the skin of around the size of the palm at the middle of the thigh in its upper part. It gives through this nerve, it gives cutaneous innervation to that region. And finally, some fibrofatty tissue, some amount of fat. So this is all about the femoral triangle. Hope you have understood. Thank you.